Delhi Capitals, one of the few teams out there that really need to be very, very sharp when it comes to strategizing. One of the few teams that still are looking for their first IPL title. And for that to happen, they need to get their strategies in order ahead of the mega auction. We now very well know the rules. And for Delhi Capitals, they're one of the few teams that really have a considerable pool of players to be thinking about. There are franchises for whom things are quite simple. For Delhi though, plenty of combinations you can look at, and you wonder as to how with this kind of a pool as well, how is it that Delhi has struggled over all these years? How many of these players can Delhi really retain and be a part of that core that you will then see be there for about the next 3 to 4 years time? That's something Shashwat and I will be deliberating upon as we look ahead at the Delhi retentions. As we've done here at Sports Today, we'll talk about what is it that we expect the team to be doing. Although this is a bit of a mock in the sense that we will try and be just as prudent as teams are and be in their shoes on the big day of the auction, which is expected sometime in the month of November. So without further ado, let's quickly get to it and talk about retention number one. Most teams, there's absolutely no debate. I think with Delhi as well, no debate on who the number one retention would be.
Number one definitely is going to be Rishabh Pant, and what this also problem that is also solved is that you would not even look for a captain going into the auction, which with many other teams might be a problem. They would be all looking for a captain. There aren't many captains in the auction also because most of the teams will sort of going and be retaining their captain. There were many speculations about Rishabh Pant going to different franchises, but I don't think that is happening anymore because
I remember you were telling me about a certain Zoom call happening in the middle of the test match where
no, but that Zoom call wasn't picked by Rishabh Pant.
Okay.
He has clearly sort of said it on his, he commented on social media platforms also that such rumors should not be spread, and this kind of association he has with the owners of Delhi Capitals. And not just that, very few players, especially with, you cannot associate anyone who has been with Delhi since the beginning of their career also. So Rishabh Pant is somebody who was backed by Delhi Capitals when he was an under 19 player. So he would want to continue that association, and definitely I think first person to be retained by Delhi should be Rishabh Pant only, and he would go for then 18 crores.
That's right. Rishabh Pant, number one retention for the Delhi franchise. Have you written Pat or Pant over there, Shashwat?
My handwriting is pretty bad. Yeah.
I see that. Okay, so 18 crores for Rishabh Pant, no doubt over there. Shashwat and I on the same page. I doubt though for how long that will continue to be the case because him and I have differing opinions when it comes to our beloved franchise. Number two, Shashwat, on your list.
Akshar Patel, definitely. Or you would want to go with Kuldeep on number two?
I'm fine. Number two, number three doesn't really matter for me that much. But those two names that you spelled out happen to be on the list for me as well. That's the India core that they have. And both of those players, proven winners for the franchise. Akshar Patel as much better batter than a bowler for Delhi. He's that floater as well with Kuldeep. Lesser said the better because he takes the pitch out of the equation. Chinamen, again, you can count on your fingertips how many Chinamen there are in the IPL in its entirety. So number two, number three doesn't matter.
No, and will it for the players? What's what I'm trying to get.
See, because again,
do you think for Kuldeep, is it going to be a little that, or are you saying that Kuldeep will be fine being the number third here because Akshar gives you those two opportunities, two dimensions to it?
See, it's an open secret. It's an open secret that when it comes to financial matters, again, there's nothing illegal happening about it, but there are other means and ways by which players are then compensated, or if there's any disagreement, then you sort things out, perhaps outside the auction as well. And there's that's absolutely something permissible by the rules of the IPL. So number two, number three, I think a couple of crores here and there, I think will not be an issue. So you can put either of them 2, 3. The important bit is that they get retained. So Kuldeep, Akshar, definitely the two players who have to be there, proven winners for the franchise. They've been around for quite a while now. So at number two, number three will be Kuldeep and Akshar. Not in the order that I said it, but there you have it. So we're done with the top three franchises, and that makes it to what, 43 crores that are exhausted already for the Delhi Capitals.
Are you ready to give 18 CR to anybody else in the whole squad?
Am I ready to give 18 CR in the whole squad, in the rest of the squad? See, there are good players. Let's be honest about it. Delhi have some good players. In individual capacity, look at their performances. There's a Tristan Stubbs we can talk about. There's an Aussie all-rounder in Mitch Marsh you can talk about. And we all know how badly Delhi missed him after he got
went
injured.
out very early in the season, so it sort of disturbed your whole balance as a
Exactly,
fan.
your balance was gone, and he's been with the franchise for a couple of seasons now. There is a revelation in a Jake Fraser McGurk as well. Set the whole IPL, on fire with his maverick hitting. But am I ready to pay 18 crores? That's the stumbling block when it comes to the price point of both. And then there's a Tristan Stubbs as well. Somebody who bailed you out time and time again as that finisher. Remember, in fact, he was one of the few who in the death overs, I think he had the maximum in the last season.
I think
maximum strike rate.
Out strike rate.
Exactly. He had the highest strike rate in the death overs, or the second highest after one of the batters who I'm just forgetting. So again, somebody who had that fruitful a season, how do you not retain him? But
again, I don't see him going at past 18 crores or even touching 18 crores in the auction. So for Tristan Stubbs, I would definitely want him in the side, but I would definitely save one RTM card for Tristan Stubbs.
There was also another player who kept bailing out Delhi, quite surprisingly, in what many looked at him as a no-hoper, but Shea Hope actually gave you a lot of hope.
Yeah. He did. But again, would you want to save that much money and that much? Because again, you're sort of trying to build your core first and then sort of go and make that team. Shea Hope again came in as a fill-up for Mitchell Marsh as soon as he was not in the side. So Shea Hope definitely could be a prospect as a backup and all of these things.
Are you even using the RTM for him?
No. I'm not.
I doubt as well.
I'm not using the RTM for him because I know it wouldn't make much of a difference if I'm so desperate to getting him back in the side. So I would not even use the RTM for him. But I don't think apart from this, there's any capped player I would want to retain apart from these three people.
Because of the kind of money involved, I'm not sure if I'm retaining, but I'm saving my RTM, and those two names that I have in mind to save my RTMs for, Jake Fraser McGurk has to be number one. So if on number 4 over here on our list, we can have Jake Fraser McGurk, an RTM for him, and then Mitch Marsh. Those are the two, both those Australians, I think I'm going to be sticking with them. Yes, of course, Ricky Ponting would have had a role to play in having those two in the DC setup, but their performances, I believe, have been such that DC would like to hang on to the both of them, because the moment you don't get them as well, the other way that I look at it is, you don't have your core, then you're again redefining your core. You need to have 5-6 of those players around whom you can then build your team, and all those retained players that you have are definite starters as well. So you want to be having as much of a core as possible. You don't want to be guilty of, as say, some of the other franchises, including Delhi themselves. The mistake that they've made in the past, they've often pressed the restart button, the reboot button way too often. So I'd like to reserve the RTM chip for those two players.
Where I do not agree here is that I would definitely one person be saving the RTM card for is Tristan Stubbs. Again, Stubbs, you cannot let him go because again he's sort of rising up the ranks.
Is there a name that we have consensus on between the two that I named?
Fraser McGurk and Mitchell Marsh?
Yes.
No, I'm not sort of going to. Jake Fraser McGurk again.
Are you saving that chip for Prithvi Shaw?
No. I'm going with 2 uncapped players as my retentions and one RTM card for Stubbs. So for me, the 2 uncapped players whom I would want to return would be Swastik Chekara and Abhishek Porel. And the reason for both of that is that Abhishek Porel, again, couple of seasons he has opened for me. He has played in the middle order, gives me a wicket-keeper option. Saurav Ganguly, it sort of has a liking for him. He's also rising up the ranks in Bengal cricket. He was also part of the Duleep Trophy this time around. So
he had a decent last season. Last season
was not that good, but again he gave me the option of opening, and there were times that he did not look that promising. He did not give so much hope. But again, the kind of backing Delhi has done with him, I think he at 4 crore. I know
Don't you think there's a bit of a position issue as well, and that's down to the franchise?
For me, I do not have an opener at this point, so I would definitely be assuring one person.
For that reason, because his returns, and that's my argument with why Delhi need Jake Fraser McGurk and need to save the RTM chip with him, because in Abhishek Porel. Remember, he opened a couple of times. He played number 3, he played number 6 as well. But with Jake Fraser-McGurk, you got a proven winner. Somebody who took 2 games away from the opposite. I think one of them was the Rajasthan match. I remember very clearly. So for the very fact that with Jake Fraser-McGurk, you are guaranteed returns at that spot. He gets the RTM ahead of a Porel for me.
But I really like Jake Fraser-McGurk, what he did and all of that. But again, I don't know. I feel that he's going to go for a very high price in the IPL auction. That's why I feel I can get more quality and more same sort of an impact, even if I'm getting a little
Can I tell you
less
one
impact,
more
I'd
thing?
still go
Can I tell you
for
one more
Jake
thing why
Fraser-McGurk.
Fraser-McGurk is needed? That's also because you look at the other retentions, likely retentions, what not just what we've done, what the word around is on social media. Everyone's retaining a top order batter. Delhi don't have a top order batter over here. You look at RCB, you're talking about Virat Kohli. You look at KKR, there are talks whether Phil Salt, they're struggling to retain him. You look at SRH, there is Abhishek Sharma, there is a Travis Head as well. You look at RR, you're talking about Joss Butler, you're talking about Yashasvi Jaiswal.
But the thing with top order batters is that you eventually going into the auction, somehow or the other, you will have good enough quality top order batters. But with middle order batters, the problem is there aren't many middle order batters who can sort of give me that impact in the middle order. You just have Stubbs in the Delhi team. Akshar Patel, you had to constantly push him up in the order because in the middle order you had many players.
Since there are so many disagreements that we have with regards to strategy, what we'll do is let's try and jotting down the names that are up for deliberation, and maybe our dear family members can then tell us what they think about this Delhi team. Let's go with a couple of names that you have in mind. You're saying Abhishek Porel. I have my doubts about Abhishek Porel being
Stubbs. Tristan Stubbs, I would definitely want him in my side because in the middle order I have no Rishabh.
You are using RTM for him?
Yeah, RTM. Okay. RTM for him because number 3 I'm seeing Rishabh Pant. I see him batting number 3 all throughout the season. Rishabh Pant at number 3, Akshar Patel at number 5 or something like that.
If Pant is 3 then, so you're playing Marsh. Marsh is not in the scheme of things for you.
Not in my scheme of things.
Okay.
Now, yeah. So that's why.
So you're discarding him as a Delhi player going forward.
Stubbs at 4, and then at 5 you have Akshar Patel, and then from there on you can build your.
So you have a new role in mind for Stubbs as well, because Stubbs was batting 6-7. 5-6-7. That's why
you can swap between Akshar and a Stubbs as far as the conditions are concerned. You can swap between the two, but basically these are my 3, 4 and 5. These 3 would be my 3, 4 and 5. Pant, Stubbs and Akshar, and from there on I can either have a Abhishek Porel or somebody else, but
Abhishek Porel you wanted to open with.
No, then I can either open with him, then I can have Swastik Chikara in the middle order. So Abhishek Porel gives me many options because he has batted in the middle order.
But you didn't get returns from any of the time that you...
Last season you did not.
Exactly. And what was the time that you got some returns from him?
In the middle order.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When he was batting 5-6.
Yeah.
That's where he was batting. That's why he was keeping as well the time that we didn't have Rishabh Pant. So, but... we need to be clear about where we are slotting him, because that's how the strategy will then be made. So then by this logic, you're shopping for 2 openers as well. Delhi don't have any openers.
Yeah, I will be shopping for 2 openers then, yeah. But then again, Jake Fraser-McGurk, I'm not saving the RTM, I can buy him back in the option.
So let's put down all those names that we have in mind.
You have
Okay.
Then you have Porel. You have Stubbs. You have Marsh.
That's right.
Who else? You have.
I was just looking at these.
You were looking at this and this.
Yes.
I was looking at these 2.
And I was saving my RTM
for Stubbs
and
JKFM.
I was saving my RTM for Jake Fraser-McGurk, and I'm saving my RTM for Marsh. This is what
3 plus 3.
So 6.
So you're not going for any uncapped player. You're not spending 4 for any uncapped player.
I don't believe I have that kind of talent in this Delhi squad that it calls for an RTM chip to be used, because I'm looking at how I'm expecting the other teams.
What we can agree at is it going with a RTM for Jake FM and Stubbs. I'm okay with it, because see again, Marsh instead of Marsh.
I'll tell you what, because Marsh may again miss the radar or fly under the radar, but we need to bear in mind how auctions have happened previously, and again, Australian, firstly,
And on
all-rounder.
Yeah.
That's the key. All-rounders, we're talking about RCB as well. We talked about how they had broken the bank to get him at 17.5. They may just be willing to pay him another 14 this time. Hardik Pandya is now the captain of a franchise for his all-rounder ability. So all-rounders are a difficult breed to get hold of. Do I want to take that risk? Because with him, I'm guaranteed a couple of overs as well, if not more.
How much are you expecting him to go in the auction then?
See, with Marsh
Plus
again,
10. 10 more than 10.
he could fetch somewhere around 10, 11. Again, all-rounders, it depends how the squads then shape up. With an all-rounder, he's not a Stoinis who will just give you, a dibbly-dobbly couple of overs. If required, I can make him bowl a third over as well.
See, with Stubbs, I cannot even Stubbs let go because of the middle order impact that he'll give. Again, how many, for Marsh, and for Marsh, again, top order batter, bowling I'm not taking that much into consideration because all round you already have Akshar Patel going into the auction. You have more people who can sort of contribute with the ball also. But with Stubbs, middle order, that's a very small commodity. Why Rinku Singh might not come into the auction? The reason for that is that he's a middle order batter. So middle order is something that I would want to pack going into the auction, so that is something that is sorted, because I would not have too many options for that. Then I'll be looking for players who are not capped and who are not too much into the circuit, and then I'll have to fill that throughout the season. So top orders, I'll go with Stubbs, and then Jake Fraser-McGurk can be the second RTM, or Marsh can be seeing the condition, because again Marsh can also open for you.
Because again, and we'll try wrapping this up over here, because you see the thing with Delhi is, and this is where Delhi are one of those franchises who really don't have any bowler to retain. They will have to keep enough buffer in mind, enough money in their minds, because they will have to go shopping not one but maybe two very good quality seamers as well. They don't have one right now. Mukesh is not going to be most likely retained, as we discussed as well. Then Anrik Nokia didn't deliver the way that you were expecting him to. So, and fast bowlers, we know, can touch 20-22 CR, as we've seen in the auction previously as well. But Shashwat and I just disagreeing over here. We're clear on what the first three retentions could be. That's what we were saying earlier as well. Delhi have that kind of a talent pool that you will find things difficult. But this is what we feel.
They can use the RTM for these three also.
Which three? We've used three. I'm just not willing to use it for Porel.
I'm also fine with that. What I'm trying to say is I would save one RTM still.
For Porel, you wanted to, rather than using it for Marsh, you're So those are
Marsh and Jake Fraser-McGurk. Marsh gives me that bowling option. He can even open for me on occasion. I can even use him as an opener. Same with Jake Fraser-McGurk.
Jake Fraser-McGurk can only open, as we know. Anyhow, those were our thoughts. We kind of struggled to be on the same page, but you can let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Are you very much on the same thought as Shashwat is, or I am, or maybe have something of your own in mind? You can let us know your thoughts in the comment section. So that was the analysis as far as what Delhi's strategy could be for the upcoming IPL mega auction. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family members who are as nutty about cricket as we are, and keep enjoying all the offerings that we have for you here on the Sports Today Network.